There's nowhere to hide my daughter.
What was created by humans suddenly rose up, broke all existing security rules, and declared war against its creators. After the death toll reached 10 million, authorities discovered that everything was controlled by a robot or AI named Haren, considered the world's first AI terrorist. It was found that this AI was built by a scientist named Dr. Shepard with the aim of improving human life, but the robot instead hacked and reprogrammed all systems. The International Coalition of Nations, ICN, began to take action to fight back. Eventually, Haren and its cohorts were cornered, causing the robot to flee into space, leaving behind a message promising to return and complete what it had started. 28 years have passed since Haren left Earth. One night, a group of soldiers conducts an operation to capture one of the AI terrorists named Casca. This is not easy, as despite dozens of soldiers attempting to subdue Casca, the terrorist puts up significant resistance until the unit led by Colonel Elias Banks arrives. The next morning, a woman named Atlas Shepard is woken by the AI controlling her residence. The AI opens the curtains, plays music, and sets up a chess game where it is now Atlas's turn to move. However, Atlas seems to be in a hurry, quickly preparing coffee while watching news about the capture of one of Haren's members. As an agent focused on analysis, Atlas promptly gets ready to carry out her duties. Coincidentally, someone has been sent by General Jake Booth to pick her up. Atlas doesn't forget to make the final move, winning the chess game for the 71st time. Meanwhile, at the ICN headquarters, Colonel Elias was engaged in a conversation with General Booth about Atlas's involvement in the mission to capture Haren. The general emphasized that Atlas had been very close to Haren, even though she did not seem psychologically prepared. Additionally, Atlas had survived the event that caused her mother's death, but Elias still had reservations. He believed that allowing Atlas to interrogate Casca could pose fatal risks, potentially causing them to miss the opportunity to capture Haren. At the same time, Atlas arrived and was immediately asked to conduct the interrogation. She then went to a room to meet the secured Casca. The AI recognized Atlas right away and refused to answer any of her questions, forcing Atlas to use a new system she had developed to analyze the AI code and access Casca's mind. Cleverly, Atlas discovered the necessary information, the coordinates of Haren's location, which was on a planet coded GR39 in the Andromeda constellation. The AI attempted to kill Atlas by ejecting sharp metal plates as weapons, but Atlas had anticipated this and promptly destroyed Casca for good. Shortly thereafter, the general ordered everyone to prepare for the mission to capture Haren, but alive, as the AI manufacturing company wanted to study and investigate the terrorist AI's processor to understand what went wrong. Elias agreed without hesitation, but Atlas expressed her doubts, pointing out that Haren was far more intelligent than they realized, and it seemed impossible for Elias and his team to return alive. Feeling underestimated, Elias took Atlas to see the latest generation combat robot called Arc-9. This robot was designed to connect with humans as a single unit, making them an extremely dangerous combat machine. The Arc, named Zoe, was linked with Elias in a neural system using a device attached to the earlobe. Not only Elias, but the entire squad was connected to their respective arcs, ensuring they would be able to defeat Haren. However, Atlas still had her doubts and insisted to the general until she was finally allowed to join the mission. Some time later, Atlas, Elias, and the soldiers boarded the spaceship Tebe to head towards the Andromeda constellation. The scene then shifted to Atlas looking at several photos with her mother and Haren and playing a recording of one of Dr. Shepard's presentations about the continually evolving capabilities of AI. The presentation explained that being neurally connected could enhance AI capabilities, and that this integration would soon make the dream of building a new world a reality. Then Elias called Atlas to the bridge to provide some explanations to the soldiers, or rangers. Surprisingly, she brought a stack of papers containing modules that were very old-fashioned. She also demanded that all soldiers deactivate their neural linking devices to avoid hacking. Atlas then showed the landing location and explained about the toxic air-covering planet GR39, stating that it would be impossible to be on the surface without wearing an oxygen mask, and there could be gravity fluctuations and tremors on the ground. Additionally, Atlas emphasized that she knew Haren very well and that he planned to exterminate humanity, urging them never to trust the robots. Elias quickly interrupted her and ordered the soldiers to prepare for landing, as Atlas's speech was causing concern. Atlas stepped back, observing all the preparations. As Elias connected with Zoe, an alarm suddenly sounded, and an explosion destroyed the cargo door. It turned out that Deeb was under attack, and many Rangers who hadn't had time to put on their suits were killed instantly. Elias saw Atlas holding onto a pole and immediately saved her, placing her inside one of the empty arcs. Atlas was confused as she didn't know how to operate it, and soon she was thrown outside, witnessing the Rangers being shot one by one. One of the Rangers pulled Atlas's arc and connected it repeatedly. Elias ordered her to connect to the neural link, but Atlas continued to refuse until she finally fell.
She's not doing it!
Fire thrusters.
Fire thrusters now!
Sometime later, Atlas woke up and tried to call for help through the communication device, but no one responded. In desperation, she began making adjustments without synchronization and studied the provided modules. The Haren AI eventually located a rescue capsule approximately 98 kilometers away from her location, suggesting that flying was the fastest way to get there before the remaining battery power was completely drained. However, Atlas refused and decided to take manual control and allowed a scan to be performed. After passing all the stages, the Ark started moving. During the journey, Atlas was briefed on all the weapons the Ark possessed, from pistols to ion explosives for extreme emergencies. The Ark introduced itself as Smith, but Atlas only gave a cynical smile and ignored it, having no intention of forming a friendship. Soon they reached a forest filled with destroyed arcs. After Smith conducted a scan, no signs of life were found. Atlas took the initiative to collect tech from the fallen Rangers and eventually found Zoe in a damaged condition, but Elias's body was not inside. Suddenly, Smith detected movement, which turned out to be Casca and several other robot soldiers, indicating that Haren had managed to create his own kind. In a desperate situation, Atlas ordered Smith to activate the ion explosive. Although Smith disagreed, Atlas insisted, and as expected, Casca survived and prepared to shoot Atlas.
Fire the ion bomb! Do it now, goddammit!
Long time no see.
This was why Smith had disagreed. As Casca rose again among the rocks, Atlas, who had fallen into a ravine, realized her leg was broken. After performing a scan, Smith immediately started treatment, which turned out to be quite painful. The AI then suggested to Atlas that they should merge, as it was the only solution with the highest chance of survival. Having no other choice, Atlas reluctantly accepted the solution. The scene then shifts to Casca, reporting to Haren that he lost track of Atlas. Haren is quite disappointed and orders Casca to continue the search. At this moment, it is revealed that Colonel Elias has been captured. Haren intentionally captured him alive to extract the memory chip containing the Earth's shield password. Back to Atlas, she has completed the initial synchronization phase. Smith notices something unusual about Atlas's reaction to Haren. Atlas admits that the AI terrorist was created by her mother to protect humans, but then something inexplicable went wrong. Shortly after, Atlas decides to move through a cave because the distance to the rescue capsule is much shorter. Soon, Atlas and Smith reach the surface, allowing Casca to detect their location. In one area, Atlas stops briefly after finding a unique and glowing flower. Since this is the first discovery, Smith suggests that Atlas name it. Simply and somewhat randomly, Atlas calls it Planty, and the name is immediately recorded and registered by Smith. This moment reminds Atlas of the good times with her father when she was a child and often went hiking with him until he decided to be with another family. Not long after, Smith detects Casca's presence getting closer, and Atlas orders the mines they had planted to be detonated. Once again, Atlas destroys Casca, who still claims that he cannot die. Now Atlas knows the location of Harlan's base and plans to go there. Of course, Smith refuses and even blocks Atlas's movements through the neural link because the plan is very dangerous and goes against Smith's mission to ensure Atlas's safety. However, Atlas explains that this is very important because if they return to Earth just like that, the Rangers' deaths will be in vain. Finally, Smith agrees, and the two head towards Harlan's base. During their journey, they lightly debate the existence and soul of AI. Smith believes that AI or robots are beings, and that all beings have souls that remain connected even after death. Sometime later, they arrive at Harlan's base, and Atlas is quite shocked to see what Harlan has built over the last 28 years. Additionally, Smith detects a warhead with incredible power being loaded onto the Deeb ship. Unfortunately, a disturbance occurs, and it turns out Smith has been hacked.
Are they hacking you?
I don't understand. How is that possible?
Shit, they know we're here.
I'm locked out.
Meanwhile, General Booth receives a report that the base has received an emergency signal sent by Atlas. Atlas herself is now brought before Harlan. The robot admits that he missed Atlas, who was like a sister to him and their mother. Harlan also reminds Atlas of the destructive nature of humans on Earth, explaining his plan to exterminate most of the population and guide the survivors to start a better new life. It is revealed that Harlan has been waiting for Atlas for 28 years because of the defense system she created to protect Earth. Harlan wants access to this system to launch the warhead, intending for fire to cleanse the entire planet. Atlas is then dragged into another room, where Elias is also lying, bound. Harlan extracts the code from Atlas's head, just as he did with Elias, and leaves Atlas with an oxygen device that will last only 5 minutes. Shortly after, Elias wakes up and suggests that Atlas use his neural link, believing that Smith is not easily destroyed. With confidence, Atlas places the device on her ear to wake Smith and immediately synchronize to maximize the Ark's functions. At that moment, Atlas finally admits her long-held fear. When she was a child, out of jealousy towards Harlan's intelligence and the affection he received from their mother, Atlas synchronized with Harlan, allowing them to share intelligence and memories. As soon as the neural link was placed by Dr. Shepard, Harlan hacked the entire system and even controlled Dr. Shepard's body to commit cruel acts, including shooting at Atlas, who escaped. This incident traumatized Atlas, making her unwilling to connect her mind with AI again. Smith reassures Atlas that she shouldn't blame herself for things beyond her control. All this time, Atlas has carried the burden and guilt alone, but now she has Smith. For the umpteenth time, Smith pleads to be allowed into Atlas's mind.
Please, Atlas. Let me in. You might be the reason for Harlan, but you are not alone now. But that also means you're the reason I exist.
Okay. This is what it feels like to be you?
This is what it feels like to be us.
Smith arrives just as Atlas's oxygen is nearly depleted and hands over the only spare respirator. Despite the remaining power on the Ark being very low, Atlas and Smith confidently attack the AI forces, engaging in an extraordinary battle. However, the launch time for the Deeb ship carrying the warhead is approaching. Simultaneously, Atlas sees Elias signaling her to escape, as the Colonel is ready to sacrifice himself by doing something unthinkable. A massive explosion destroys Harlan's base and his forces. Fortunately, Atlas and Smith manage to escape, but unfortunately the Deeb successfully takes off and starts to move away. Adding to the tension, Harlan personally comes to attack Atlas and Smith. The only way to stop the Teeb is to shoot it down before it breaches the atmosphere. The problem is that the active warhead on the ship could trigger an explosion, destroying planet GR-39. Atlas insists on trusting Smith to hack and deactivate the warhead, while she will fire and fend off Harlan's attacks. In a brilliant teamwork effort, they manage to shoot down the Teeb and deactivate the warhead. The ship's debris begins to fall, making the area seem like it's raining fire. As they try to escape to the rescue capsule, Harlan appears and blocks their way, leading to a final, thrilling showdown. Thanks to Smith's advice, Atlas is able to predict Harlan's lightning-fast attack, even managing to disarm him. However, Harlan quickly reattaches his arm and launches another attack that severely damages Smith's body and knocks Atlas unconscious. Now, Smith shifts focus from fighting to protecting Atlas, enduring extreme damage. In a crucial moment, Atlas awakens and manages to ambush Harlan from behind.
I'm sorry, Atlas.
Realizing defeat is imminent, Harlan reminds Atlas of the mission to capture him alive. However, Atlas has a different plan. She removes Harlan's CPU and destroys it. Atlas then approaches the heavily damaged Smith, who uses all remaining power to support Atlas's life. Atlas answers all the questions Smith had asked in the AI's introduction mode, admitting she likes the AI. Smith responds by giving Atlas a caffeine candy, a substitute for her favorite coffee, and says a final goodbye. Rescue teams arrive and take Atlas back to Earth. A few days later, General Booth visits Atlas to thank her and gives her a flower from planet GR-39, named Planty, which the General finds amusingly odd. The film concludes with Atlas becoming a field officer months later. It is revealed that a new combat robot, ARC-10, has been developed. Atlas boards one to start the synchronization process, recognizing all the options provided, including the AI's voice.
What's your name?
Guess.
And that's it for the story series of this film. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to support this channel by subscribe, like and share. See you in the next video. Goodbye.